What's the most illegal thing you've done? I downloaded a car. You wouldn't! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Ding dong, ditched a neighbor's house. Crazy dad ran after me, caught me, and slammed me into the ground. I was 14, waited a week and tossed 8 quarts of used motor oil and a dead goose into their pool. The goose was roadkill and an afterthought. I feel like slamming a 14-year-old into the ground for a harmless prank is the most illegal thing. In this reply, I get his anger over a doorbell being rung at 1 but this meatball stray dropped me. Head bounced off the sidewalk. My arms and legs were so scuffed up. I wasn't even the one who rang the bell. I was across the street cracking up when my friend did. 25 years ago I stored 15 pounds of Mexican brickweed in my freezer for 1 month for a friend. I'm squeaky clean now, but that was some pound me in the ass prison time back then if I got caught. When you said brickweed I was thinking it was the absolute garbage that gets called soap. But that's a lot of weed, with all the paperwork involved and the possible consequences if not done properly or paid in time. Filing my taxes feels like step dancing on a legal minefield. Why can't America have a simple tax system like every other developed country in the world? Think TurboTax and H&R Block. I feel like they're trying to trap you. I was mind-boggled by this with my German cousins. They were going through all their stuff collecting up receipts and bills and saw how perplexed I was. They were like, yes, but if we do this and send it off, we can get some of our tax back. I'm guessing it's optional over there. What I was trying to explain was that I was perplexed because here, if you are an employee, they do that math for you and I just get a check without even expecting anything. They just couldn't imagine it. I broke into a women's prison, got a flat on the freeway, and what I thought was a motel on the other side of a chain link fence was actually a minimum security correctional facility. How long were you wandering around in there for? Definitely helped smuggle like 300 pills into an event with a push-up bra over 10 years ago. To be young. I did the same thing in a sunscreen bottle. Sometimes I think back about how fucked I'd be if someone found out. Like life-changing kinda fucked. Oh man. Yeah, I definitely have considered that and it's a terrifying thought. I did it one more time at another event. Didn't count on them yanking at tops and bras. But they totally did. Just as the corner of the pill bag poked out, the security guard turned around to answer a question from someone on her team. Monsieur, my friend was the only one to notice. She grabbed my hand and we nearly sobbed in a corner together. Never did that again. Lol. Shit you do to make memories. I'd bottle it if I got dared to steal bread now. 127 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone when I was 18. After a month in jail I decided I'd had enough of speeding for one lifetime. Wow, that's intense. Nice try, Fed. The sum totality of all the media and programs I've pirated would probably bankrupt a small country. I was working at fast food restaurant and I was cleaning the dining room and found a little bag with a black paste. Was not wax, and offered it to the cook because he smoked wax and he said, "Oh man, that's not wax. That shit's something too crazy for me, just get rid of it," and so I did. Some nice black tar to start the day. Lol, how sweet of you. I was walking my dog through a local park and a swan went crazy and started trying to attack me and my dog. So I circled round it and kicked it up the ass. It flew for a good 20 feet before landing. It was okay and unharmed. Here in Britain, kicking swans is a big no-no. But it attacked my dog. I have no regrets. I've notified the Queen. You'll soon be deported to a less civilized county where swan kicking is legal. Probably France. I didn't say bless you when a coworker sneezed. You joke, but my manager gets mad at stuff like that. It's pretty annoying. Stole a honey bun from a corner store once. Oh, wanna fuck around with honey buns, huh? Enjoy jail, buddy. This comment made me audibly laugh. Thank you. I had a steady delivery job in the 1980s in college. 2-hour drive, $5,000 cash. You're making $5,000 and only giving me $300. Wait, you guys are getting paid. I once gave a friend an account of the previous night's game without the express written consent of the National Football League. Shoplifting, jaywalking, genocide, yeah, no, the usual stuff. Username checks out. Yeah, that's pretty basic. Sexted pics of myself when I was 17. To be fair, I didn't realize it was illegal. The guy was 30. I was an idiot. No, not just you. Both of you were idiots. Yeah, I've been receiving nudes since I was 14. Never thought of it in a legal sense until after I was 18. Jerked off naked in the woods behind our house. I think that's illegal. Did you walk outside naked with the intention of jerking off? 'Cause if I saw that happen, I wouldn't even call the cops. I'd be afraid of the destruction a man of such courage could do to a police force. Seriously, where was that man during the protests? He could have defunded entire departments with a single tug. I turned right with my left indicator on once. You monster. Blew a cop to avoid getting arrested. Well, apparently that is legal in like 30 states. You either blow it or you blew it. I stole a bottle of Coke from a petrol station by accident. It was tucked in the crook of my arm while I paid for my petrol and a host of other stuff, and I just forgot to put it on the counter. The guy behind the till didn't notice either though, so you nearly needed my cousin Vinny. At what point did you shoot the clerk? I shot the clerk. That question mark at the end is rather important. Went for a walk by a lake during lockdown. Proper wilderness. No mobile signal for about 5 miles. Found this kid who was having a seizure on the bank of the lake. Did first aid. Drove him to the nearest village where I found a policeman on patrol. Asked for help getting him to hospital. Kid now having stopped seizing. Long story short, then I got fined for being out during lockdown and the kid had to wait for his mother to come pick him up and take him to hospital. Basically got fined for saving someone's life. Slow clap for the local constabulary of Saradigan County. 1. Battery. The crime. 2. Drug dealing. 3. Dated an adult when I was a minor. 4. Carried a hidden weapon. 5. Using drugs. Whoa, could you provide us a little info behind some of these if you don't mind? Which one? Whichever one you're most comfortable with. I'm extremely interested now. I'm fine with any of them. Could you tell me a little more about battery and concealing a hidden weapon? 1. Battery. So my mom is lesbian and was living with her and her GF. One day, my mother's GF and I were getting into an argument. So I decided to punch her cause what she was saying was utterly ridiculous. 2. Hidden weapon. Growing up, I was involved in gangs and bad groups. So for my own protection I had to have a weapon just about every time I went out when I wasn't in school, even if I never used it. Just having people I have it made people rethink mugging me or crossing me. Well, probably trespassing at a stranger's house in a clown costume holding a relatively large bag. Then I proceeded to do it to half of the subdivision. I should add this wasn't on a trick-or-treating day. Was this back when clowning was a thing? I think I was a terror too after. More like what is the most illegal thing you would admit doing on the internet? I just came back from Namasur. I was hitching through Oregon and some cops started harassing me. Next thing you know, I had a whole army of cops chasing me through the woods. I had to take them all out. It was a bloodbath. They drew first blood. This isn't the first time you have confused your life with the life of John Rambo. I ripped CDs. Was never caught and would never do any of this these days. Drug dealing. Carrying offensive weapon in public. DUI. This is the only one I'm really ashamed of. It was once when I was 18 and I felt sick with myself the day after breaking and entering. Brought 100 hits of acid on an airplane. Nice try, FBI, nice try. Pissed on a military base. While it did have military there at one point, the Alamo is not a military base. Aussie. I work with the disabled. If I have to bend the truth a bit on a piece of paperwork in order to get someone the help they need, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. This is all hypothetical, of course. The system here is so fair and balanced that I obviously never ever have done such a thing. So the first sentence clearly isn't an admittance to anything. I wore double denim, monsieur, once. A long time ago. I embezzled about $50 per day from a sandwich shop I used to work at. For about 2 years, 6 days per week. Damn, 30K. On top of $7.40 per hour, lol. That's not embezzling, that's just petty theft. Embezzling is theft by an employee. There is no limit on the amount. Technically, stealing a pen from a workplace is embezzlement. That time when I was homeless and was squatting in abandoned ruin with my mom, my stepdad and the rest of my family. For years, even during those 6 when I was homeless, I had ambitions to be a game designer. My stepdad would provide the necessities, but he recognized my ambitions, so he helped me by giving me a few cannabis plants, of which the harvest could bring together enough money to buy a laptop with. I tended the plants all summer. They grew really well, especially with all that nice hot natural sun they were getting in South France. Unfortunately, 1 week before harvest, the local police confiscated the plants. Didn't get arrested, though. Didn't even come for a visit or give any warnings. They just scouted out the spot where I was growing the plants and took them, monsieur. Once had a dream catcher making contest, or SMTH like that. In school, we were provided with that thingy so we could practice at home. Afterwards, the teacher asked us to bring them back, but I forgot to and no one ever noticed. Probably still have it lying around somewhere. Walking in the streets during curfew. US or Iran? Chile. He said, walking in the streets during curfew, rather than running in the streets during curfew, while dodging tear gas and less lethal bullets, so I don't think it's the US. Man, what happened in Chile was definitely worse than what's happening right now in the US. There the police just shot at people because they wanted to. The media isn't fair. Around 8 or 9 years ago, I crossed the India-Pakistan border and ran back. I could have been shot if I was spotted. Saw Red Room sites, but no real video. Still illegal. It's not illegal because they're all fake nowadays. Just a scam, monsieur. What's Red Room? That's run by anyone like ISIS or a serial killer. They kidnapped someone and killed them on Red Room. If you pay them, they'll torture them, as you say. It's certain if they give you a date, someone's gonna die there with brutality. An FYI, Black Room is when you're the person doing the killing. Got blackout drunk. Drove home in a thick foggy night and didn't realize what road I was on. Drove straight through a fence, past a giant tree, into some corporate private property. Ended up in a field. Drove into their driveway and up to a closed gate. I drove really close to the gate and it opened automatically. They must have figured I was a worker leaving the property. I drove around trying to find my way home and realized my tire was completely flat. I tried to change my tire and the jack broke. I got a ride home from a friend and slept off the booze. Went back to get my car and a state trooper was there. This was out in the country. I talked to the trooper and told him I was really scared and my phone was dead, so I walked home. He gave me a ticket for something relatively minor. He spared me the hit and run and I didn't get a drink driving ticket either. I learned a valuable lesson and no longer drive drunk. I was very close to hitting that tree and could have died that night. So the illegal thing I did was drunk driving, hit and run, no insurance, and destruction of property all at the same time. Instead of taking 1 to 2 candies from the bowl, one took 5. Went on Club Penguin without mom's permission. I took the tag off my mattress. Smuggled alcohol into a concert using a wine bra. Resisting the urge to Google this. Care to elaborate, please? It's basically a bra with a built-in plastic bag to put drinks into. The bag is connected to a tube one can drink from, monsieur. I bought it as a joke, but it's actually pretty useful. Probably in high school, driving at excessive speeds through downtown in the city late at night. We caught air. We also did a rat race where you take DIF routes of equal length and see who gets there first. I won and nobody died. Pretty dumb in hindsight. Also used to drive RT 185 miles per hour late at night. It was pretty safe but still probably arrestable. Those were the best drives. So smooth. Sweeping curves. Nobody on the road, just the sound of wind and motor. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.